Welcome. Let's jump right in. What if our entire reality was actually contained inside a bubble, and just on the other side of that bubble, the universe operated on a completely different principle? Well, today we're exploring that exact idea, drawn from a text called Beyond the Veil, which lays out a cosmos just filled with advanced societies and, well, higher states of being. Right off the bat, the text hits us with this pretty radical claim. It suggests there's a literal boundary around our planet, and if you cross it, you enter a universe where the fundamental laws of physics are kind of replaced by a single force: love. I mean, imagine every single atom vibrating with that energy. This one concept is the absolute key to understanding everything else we're going to talk about. All right, so to make sense of this whole vision, we're going to take a journey through 5 key areas. First, we'll define this veil of quarantine that's supposedly around us. Then we'll check out the societies of light that live beyond it. We'll meet the guardians of our galaxy, get a really close look at Pleiadian life, and finally, we'll talk about the beings who've evolved past physicality altogether, the Ascended Masters. So what is this veil? The text is really clear that this isn't some metaphor. It's described as a literal quarantine. The argument is that Earth is intentionally isolated from the rest of the cosmos, and here's how they say it's maintained. Now get this, the source pinpoints the edge of this quarantine with some surprising precision. It's supposedly a membrane made of tachyons, those theoretical particles that travel faster than light, and it sits just 13.8 kilometers, or about 8.6 miles, above the Earth's surface. According to this, a completely different reality is literally just over our heads. So to be super clear, the text insists the veil is not a metaphor, it's a physical, energetic barrier. And crossing it means stepping into a reality where the main governing force isn't gravity or electromagnetism, it's love. Okay, so if the universe beyond this veil runs on love, what kind of societies would that even create? Well, as you might guess, the text describes a civilization built on principles that are pretty much the polar opposite of what we often see down here on Earth. And these aren't just, nice ideas. They're the actual operating system for their entire civilization. Think about that for a second. Conflict isn't just avoided, it's considered an aberration, a glitch in the system. Violence isn't just wrong, it was thrown out as a totally illogical and ineffective tool ages ago. Their cooperation isn't based on laws, it's instinctual, coming from this shared inner code. This quote just perfectly captures their whole perspective. They don't see the galaxy as some chaotic mess of competing interests. They see it as a mandala, a complex, perfectly symmetrical, and totally interconnected work of art that's made of light. That one idea shapes their entire approach to life and to each other. So these galactic societies aren't just living in harmony, they're actively working as guardians. The text gives them very specific missions, especially when it comes to Earth. Let's take a look at their cosmic job descriptions. It's like each race has a highly specialized function. You've got the Syrians, who are kind of like the cosmic engineers, keeping Earth's energetic grid stable. Then there are the Arcturians. They're the psychologists and healers working on our collective belief systems. The Pleiadians act as our guides, sort of nudging humanity toward its awakening. And the cosmic central race? They're directing the flow of life-giving energy right from the heart of the galaxy. And how do they pull off all these galaxy-spanning roles? Well, the text points to a key piece of tech, tachyon propulsion. This apparently lets them use stargates for near-instantaneous travel, which means they can be anywhere they need to be, from the galactic center to Earth's orbit, in basically the blink of an eye. The source text really spends a lot of time on one of these races in particular, the Pleiadians. It paints this incredibly vivid picture of their culture. So let's take a closer look at their society of joy and love. The Pleiadian culture is described as being built on pure joy and a really deep, sensual appreciation for beauty. I mean, they don't just value peace. They've spent millennia actively engineering their society around it after totally giving up on war. Their origin story even connects them back to angelic beings who evolved through the galactic central sun. Okay, now this might be one of the most surprising claims in the text. It states that for Pleiadians, erotic energy is a core pillar of life. It's not seen as taboo at all, but as this sacred, powerful force for healing and creating these incredibly deep connections. It's just fundamental to their whole way of being.
Their healing skill is tied to this fascinating concept called liquid light technology. The text describes it as a kind of spiritual mastery over the structure of water itself. By manipulating H2O on a quantum level, they can apparently amplify and direct the universe's primary creative energy. This is what makes them some of the most sought-after healers in the whole galaxy.
So what does all this add up to? A life without work as we know it. Their technology handles all the material needs, which frees them up to dedicate their lives entirely to art, music, and spiritual exploration. And yeah, with lifespans that stretch over 1,000 years, they've got plenty of time to pursue it all. And finally, we arrive at the absolute pinnacle of evolution described in this text, the Ascended Masters. These aren't just advanced beings. These are individuals who have, for all intents and purposes, graduated from physical reality entirely. The contrast between our existence and theirs is just stark. We have physical bodies, they are beings of pure light who just appear as holographic projections. We live in a world of duality and conflict. They exist in a state of constant bliss and oneness. In short, they're described as being completely free from the matrix of our reality, operating totally outside of space and time. So what's their purpose? Well, according to the text, it's all about service. They inspire us, they send supportive energy, and they help clear out negative influences. But the source stresses one point above all. Despite the name Masters, they don't rule. They act more like loving elder siblings, just guiding humanity on its own evolutionary path. But hey, if they're so helpful, where are they now? The text lays out this long history of withdrawal, starting 26,000 years ago when dark forces apparently took over the planet. Contact got even more limited in 1996. The result is that today, their pure teachings are basically lost to us. But the text does offer hope, pointing to a future cosmic shift, they just call it the event, that will finally restore that lost connection. And that wraps up our journey through the reality described in Beyond the Veil. We've looked at a universe governed by love, met its galactic guardians, and caught a glimpse of a state of being way beyond our own. The text leaves us with a pretty provocative idea that one day their pure teachings will return. So, if that happened tomorrow, what would be your first question? Thanks for joining me.